Okay, so let's talk some DoorDash, some food delivery. I think one of the biggest concerns is that, I wonder if Didi's still hiking most of our money from deliveries, and it's kind of hard to know that unless they pull an audit. I know Didi's danced around with money before, claiming that they're just paying you, $2 for the delivery, and then this other part is supposedly a tip and stuff like that. I've had orders where I didn't get paid. I had orders where the mileage wasn't even on there, no address was on there. I learned my lesson by texting Didi and going, look, there's no address or mileage on this order, and I know how far it is. And I use a GPS, a very expensive one. And sometimes they'll add to it. The problems that we get delivering, trying to get into bases and stuff like that, which you can't unless you sign up in advance and do all that paperwork and get approved. It's a government property, so let's remember that. You hear some of these people go, oh, I do it all the time. Well, yeah, probably because you've got a card or you are military, but you're violating military terms by delivering on the property without permission. You don't bring anything on a military base without permission. They don't know if you're bringing a bomb in there, everything's inspected. I mean, I've gone on bases where they've gone through my whole car because it's part of the protocol for safety. These guys are, protecting us 24 hours a day, whether they're in Guam or down the street here. So we want them safe, that's for sure. And those boundaries are set for a reason. But you get orders where they, Didi will call you out. Like I had one that went from Fort Walton to Destin. That thing had bounced around so many times, and then they started adding money to it. So then they wanted, to throw like $30 at the order just to get it delivered. And it was a sandwich from Firehouse, something like that. The only problem was that the pickup was Firehouse in Fort Walton, and then deliver way the other end of Destin out by Miramar, which is East Destin. And it was really not a good time of day. It was about 3 in the afternoon. And it just so happened the traffic gets kind of hairy around 4. And I was sitting in that traffic, and I texted the customer repeatedly, I'm sorry, the traffic's terrible. I'm sorry there's a traffic wreck. I'm sorry I'm halfway there. Just letting them know, so they don't ruin my rating because, it's going to be late. And some people are very understanding. I mean, it's like they don't want to drive. They're glad you're doing it. But, then all of a sudden, signal dropped. Just a little over halfway there, the signal will drop for a second and pick back up because it's a road, over the ocean kind of thing, I guess. You've got, ocean on both sides of you. And, it just dumps. It's always done that. But, unless you had the old radio phones, then you didn't have any problem. But, yeah, and so all of a sudden the order disappears. I was so mad because then it took another 30 minutes to try to get turned around in that traffic that just sat there. So I lost gas, time, orders, playing that game. That wasn't even fair. And then, you text to call DoorDash and they're like, huh, what? It's just like a big banquet order that I had to pick up in Destin. And you've got to, you know, clock in by a certain time. You can't accept any other orders. And you have to be there by a certain time, but they're not going to give it to you until a certain time. So you have to sit there and wait while you're losing orders. And then DoorDash keeps sending you orders and keep declining, and it keeps lowering your rating. And so it's kind of a catch-22. But one of the biggest problems is, and other than the fact that order disappeared off of my thing, and then I spent 40 minutes talking to Dee about it, and then all of a sudden this other girl comes to pick up that order, and she's a little tiny car, and the order was authorized. It was a huge banquet order. It was authorized for a van or SUV, not a little tiny compact car. And so that just bit. That just bit. And so I lost money on that deal too, and orders, because it was like peak time of taking orders. But yeah, the next thing to consider is, you know, when the order comes up on the screen, is how old is that order? You know, if it says it was supposed to be delivered 30 minutes ago, that sucker's already late. And they're going to give you a crappy rating, which ruins you on DD. So do you take it or do you not? Then the order gets bounced around like a basketball because nobody wants it, because it's not enough money, and it's hundreds of dollars of food. And then you don't know if it's a trick order with DoorDash, because, you know, a lot of times they'll offer El Cheapo Pay for you to pick something up, and then when you go look at the menu screen of what's being ordered, it's hundreds of dollars of food. And you hope and pray that when you deliver it, that you be paid a higher amount after that, whether it be customers tip, so-called, on the app, or Didi paying you more, to keep people from cherry picking, which I think is useless. I think it should be illegal, really. They should be honest with what they're going to pay you right up front, because you're, you know, like an independent contractor. You pick the work you want. You don't have to take any order. You do not. So that's the difference. We don't get paid by the hour where we have to do the job and take every single order. We get paid by the order. We make the choice to take that order or not. So if the pay doesn't look good, when this sucker reached 13 miles and $2, I'm not taking it. One, I don't take any order less than $10, period. I heard a guy say that years ago, and I thought, God, he's arrogant. But no, really, and he's driving a Mercedes, and I mean, I wouldn't even turn key on my car for an order less than $10. I just would not. There's no way. Especially with gas as high as it is right now, you know, and then you got to drive back to the area where you were at, because you know where the orders are hot. You know where to hang out, because you know your hot spots that you want to go to, that your best experiences are with, and the people love you there. And you can't be requested on Didi, which would be nice if they would have a way where you can request your driver. But, and again, I, you know, much rather have my tips cash after I've delivered. And if I'm a customer, I would really rather tip after it's delivered to make sure I got good service, you know, to make sure they didn't eat my food or lose part of my food, you know, or drop it or something, you know, or deliver to me in a dirty, nasty car if I come out to get it, because you don't have to come to my door. I will go down and meet you. I know you're on a time clock. I know that, you know, you've got other orders to deliver, and, you know, maybe I don't want to tip you as much as some folks, right? So if I just step outside that door and and you're telling me what color car you got, or what kind of car you got, or how far away you are, I'll step out that door and come grab that food from you, just like my customers do. If you text them, you would be surprised how many people will meet you at your car, where you do not have to go knock on doors or anything like that, because it just makes it nice, where you just go boom. Now, if you're doing, I think it's Uber Eats, where they have to meet you. One of them, Uber Eats or Grubhub, has to meet you at the car. You don't do doors at all. But their pay is just really low. But some people like it. They like to work for them, you know. Teach them. The bottom line is the customer going to tip on the app. You have to remember, we're not paid by the hour. Gas is really high right now. And, you know, we need our money. We need our gas for our things. But we're doing you a favor to deliver your food, and we're just a regular person just like you. You know, just out there trying to help people and make a buck. Don't think we make tons of money, because we don't. You have to work very, very hard to make that money. Yeah, that just drivers that pull 2K a week, you know, and they work every day of the week, and they work a lot of hours. They work very, very hard for that, you know. And then there's drivers that just do it as a side gig. I'm going to tell you, you know, DD's a great job to do full time all the time, but mentally it is so hard on you, and it just wears your car out too. So it's better as a side gig to something you're working than it is, you know, as a job every day, honestly, because it gets very, very aggravating. And it's not just the customers, it's the DD reps, it's the restaurants that are mean. You know, it's not always fun. You know, there's certain cities I love to work because the people are really nice, and they really appreciate me, and they know I have my stuff together to get their stuff delivered, you know, and make their restaurant look good, because it's going to be hot just like you left that restaurant. But the tipping is the biggest problem. It's a luxury service, and people go, well, I already paid DD, you know, to deliver it. But don't you understand? Delivery service is a luxury. You know, we just saved you from driving in the traffic. We just saved you from putting mileage on your car. We just saved you from wasting time driving all over the place. We just saved you from wasting time sitting around waiting on that order. When it's all computerized, and generally these orders are ready when the dasher arrives. Now, that also depends on the restaurant, or the store, they call it. Some people just can't seem to get their act together, and you learn not to take those orders. If it's a jacked up place that can never have the damn food ready, or they want to prepare it the moment the dasher arrives. I don't have time for that. Have the food ready so I can pick it up. You know, DD had it all figured out years ago when it started, that they got the order from the customer, the order sent to the restaurant. After so many minutes, the air conditioning's killed me. My kids did it. That after so many minutes, you know, it's sent to the restaurant. After so many minutes, you know, they can't cancel because the restaurant's already cooking the food. So that's a done deal. They can't reverse it. You know, the probability of somebody coming in the door that wants that same food is going to be a bit odd, and it's costing them money if they throw it in the trash. So you only have so much time to cancel as a customer. Then they figured so much time to let a dasher know that's hopefully in the nearby area. If all the dashers are busy in that area, they have to pull from another area. And this is where you get goofy orders that are like 400 miles away and stuff, because everybody's busy, and the computer bounces it around, and the next one it hits is you, and you get some goofball order that's 411 miles away, and you're going, what the hell is that? It's just because it sends it to the next available dasher. So, and you can choose to take it or not. But I had one for $20. It was to Lower Florida, and I'm like, I'm not doing that at 10 o'clock at night. Otherwise, I would go for it just for the hell of it. But that the thing is that you know, it was designed so that food could be ready. A dasher would pick up as soon as it was ready, and it could be delivered quickly, other than the fact that the app would only deliver to a certain distance from that customer's app, like within a 5-mile range of restaurants. And then what happens is they will, you know, order from some other place or order for somebody else, and all these other restaurants are on their app, and it picks up that restaurant first. So that's where you get this stupidity where, you know, they want you to pick up in Fort Walton and it delivered to Picola Beach. I bet he's got no tag. No, he's got a tag. His lights may not be working though. But, and that becomes a problem, because what happens is, if it's computerized to places like a lot of these fast food joints, you know, it's only to go through that store. You don't just pick one. Because that food is waiting at the store you're told to get it at. And if you decide to pick another one you know is closer to the customer, you don't have that right. Because you're wasting food, and that business is going to get tired of Didi, and then they're going to turn around and say, we don't want any more because we have too many orders are not picked up. And it's because dashers are going and picking their own restaurant to go to. And sometimes it won't even authorize the pay to it if you have to use that card, because it's at the wrong place. Plus, usually the pay, if you don't use the card, the pay is sent directly to that particular store that's on your app that you're supposed to pick up at. It's not your business to decide how hot their food's going to be. It's your business to pick up at the store it says on the app and deliver. The problem is really on the customer's end, because they set their local thing, and then they're somewhere else at work an hour away or something, and that's why it's making you pick up in a whole nother place when it should have really been picked up right near wherever the delivery is. But that was how it was originally designed, and that's how it continues to be. So that's why it's so important to pick up from the store that you're assigned to. The tipping is a huge problem. These people will order, you know, $200 and $300 worth of food. I'm not going to say any names, but there is a wedding place in Destin that on their website they advertise they will supply food if you would like to order food and all that kind of stuff. And then they have, you know, their own dining room there on the property so that they can feed you. And then what they're doing is they're turning around and they're ordering food from these restaurants and then charging this customer, this wedding customer, a gigantic amount of money. And then they're having DoorDash drivers deliver it. Yeah. And so it's anywhere from $300 to $1,000 worth of food. And the dasher gets paid, you know, $7 or $10. And then sometimes the dasher has to set up, or they have to load all that crap in, and it's boxes and boxes. I've done like 26 boxes of Chipotle before in one order. Okay? And they didn't tip. Plus, I had to pay $4 to go over the bridge, and I had to pay $4 to go back over because I didn't want to work over there. There was no good orders when I got there. So I had to drive back over. So I'm already in the hole. They don't realize what we go through. But yeah, that wedding place, it was constant. It was so dirt cheap. And then it would say, you get a bonus if it's on time and blah, blah. Well, guess what? It can't be on time because Chipotle won't cut loose the order until the time. They will never give it to you early. If they have it ready, they won't. They're like, I'm sorry, I can't give it to you yet. Now, they'll load it in your car, which is nice. But, damn. You know, you have to wait for them to get around to it, to get an extra employee to roll it out on a cart, load your car up. They won't let you have it. You know, and they don't check it, and stuff's turned upside down and sideways, and then you get in trouble for that with the customer because their food's leaking and stuff. I had to do a doctor's office one day with a big Chipotle banquet order, and they didn't tip poop, and it was ordered by a pharmaceutical company as a gift to that office and their employees because they do so much business with them. And there was no parking at all. It was a little tiny parking lot, and I couldn't sit parked in front of the door because I'd be blocking the drive so people couldn't get through. I had to load 15 boxes in all by myself, and it was terrible. When I went in the door, they didn't even know about any food. They're like, we didn't order any food, so take it back. That's what they told me at the desk. And I'm sending message to Dee Dee. I'm sending message to customer who does not respond. You know, I sent messages to, you know, food ready, food's loaded, I'm delivering the food, I'm 1.5 miles away, en route, and they never answered. And so I sent message, is this the correct address? Otherwise you'll need to correct it with Dee Dee. You know, on the app or on phone call, please. And I'm talking to Dee Dee at the same time. These people don't want this food. And so what happened was, it was a pharmaceutical company that ordered it as a surprise. So they didn't tell anybody. And these people, I get the cranky older lady at the desk who thinks I've lost my mind. When I'm coming there and I'm like, well, there's no parking. So, you know, and I had to wait in line too because it's a doctor's office. So I'm praying to God I'm not going to get a ticket or towed away out there or have 5 people open the door and go, get this damn car out of here. Then finally they figure it out. You know, the lady finally calls. I guess Dee Dee got a hold of the lady, and the lady calls the place and says, look, we ordered the food. And so then they go, oh, okay, apparently they ordered the food. We'll take it, I guess. And then you're hoping somebody will help you load it in. Nope. So you're by yourself, and you got load big cases of food in, like, you know, bigger than a beer case when you're loading beer in a cooler at a bar. And, you know, you can't carry a whole bunch of them, you know. And so then you learn to start buying other tools for loading. Because you need something that you can roll the stuff in and keep it straight up without it tilting so it doesn't leak and all that kind of crap. Stuff to keep it cold, stuff to keep it hot. And it gets kind of costly. I mean, yeah, it's tax deduction because of supplies, but hell, you know, it still costs you money. So anyway, I'm parked right in front of the door in the street there of that parking lot. It's only one way in, one way out. There's no parking, and here I am trying as fast as I can to load in this place, and then I have to wait on them to open the side door there. You know the door that you go in if you're a patient. They always keep that locked. And then the nurse comes to the door and she opens the door and calls out somebody's name and they get to come in. So I had to wait on that mess every time. And they had extra employees, but nobody thought to offer me help. Okay? So I'm busting butt trying to load these boxes in. Some of them at one and some of them two at a time, because they're also very heavy. There's 10 tons of food. And then they want me to set it all up. And so of course, you know, I'm taking a picture of it, because the next thing they'll do is go, we never got it. So, you know, as soon as you get it loaded in, you take a picture of it on that table or wherever it is, and then set it up and then take a picture again. But DoorDash doesn't pay you extra to set it up. It's just whatever the agreement is they have with that customer, which kind of sucks, because you can run into a whole lot of time playing 2 hours with one order on a banquet order, and you're not getting paid by the hour, you know, and they might pay you $10 or $11, maybe, total. And then they never tip. They never tip. I don't think I've ever got a cash tip on a banquet order, ever. Ever, ever. And I've had them early, on time. Yeah, never, ever. I don't think I've been tipped on a banquet order cash. But regular customers tip me. I've had people tip me $20 for $6 order. And I've always asked them, you know, this is a 20. And they go, yep, that's for you. And I'm like, okay, thank you very much. Because I thought maybe they gave me the wrong bill. Because I would cry if I gave somebody too much and didn't mean to, and that's all I had. But yeah, the tipping is a huge, huge, huge problem. And these people, they think that, you know, they're going to take this luxury service and order, you know, a $1 burrito. And then make you drive, you know, 9 miles across town and then not tip you. And then, or have you go up in an apartment building, which we're not required to do. You do it if you want to. We're not required to go up into hotels and down halls and all that, and we're not even supposed to. Just like the security complexes, really it's supposed to be delivered to the gate and no further. They're really supposed to meet you at the gate, and that's as per their contract with HOA, because they're a violator if they give out the code. And two, as per our contract, plus it has signs that says no commercial vehicles beyond this point. You know.
Excuse me, Doc, I'm gonna take your order.
$2 mocha frappe.
That's all for today?
That's it.
214 at the first window.
Thank you. So, the tipping is huge, 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 huge problem. And so people really wonder why these orders will get so late. And I've discussed this before so many times on here. I have huge amount of vlogs. It's like 500, I think it's like 500 vlogs on DoorDash alone on this YouTube channel. But, the tipping is super important. I prefer the cash ones, because I don't know if Didi really gives us our tips. I've had people, you know, tell me, I tip this much on the app, and and it makes me wonder if they're telling the truth or they're lying just to impress me. I don't know what. God, this person is obviously asleep. Hey! Wake up and smell the coffee, girl. Some older lady's looking down, so she's probably playing on the phone. God, wake up and smell the coffee. Oh, she is so scary to be driving behind. Yikes. But, yeah, the biggest thing is the tipping thing. You know, these people don't understand that we're going to bounce that order around like a damn basketball when it flies around, and it's like $2 or $3 for a $200 or $300 order. That sucker, every dasher's not going to accept it. Decline, decline, decline. It just bounced. And then maybe an hour or two later, somebody might take it, because they take all orders. They just take all orders. They don't care if it's $1, $2, $0. They'll take all orders. They don't care. Man, I got certain things I base my orders on. The pay, the mileage, what the restaurant is, how long I'm going to have to wait at that restaurant. You know, do I want to drive that far? You know, I base mine. I look at all that before I accept the order.
A small mocha frappe?
Yeah. Yes,
So that's
214. 14. So 14. And 14 in a receipt, please.
Ooh, sorry. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine.
You sure? Okay. She looks just like my other daughter when she was younger. Just beautiful. Thank you so much. They give you a paper. 3 McDonald's. Oh, they want you to sign up on their app or something. Yeah, I heard about that the other day. I don't hardly come here anymore after that routine the other day. But, anyway, so, yeah, the tipping thing is a huge factor. Thank you ever so much. But again, it's hard to tell if, you know, if Dee Dee's ripping us off or the customer is. But I'm going to tell you, if the pay is not enough, you tip or not tip, whatever you like to do. But I'm going to tell you, if that pay is not enough when it comes across that screen for the mileage and 10 tons of food, I mean, I've delivered $100, one meal, $100. Just a meal from an expensive restaurant, $100. You know? And they don't tip. And it's like, guess what? I won't do that again. I don't do any of the trick offers. I'm not going for it with DoorDash. You know, because they want to try to rule out cherry picking bullcrap. They had to have a way where they could just send the orders to the priority dashers, the good orders, and then there you go. So you're a good dasher, you get the priority orders. Otherwise, just send it out, and whoever picks it up gets it. Because it's supposed to be the closest dasher to the closest store. You know, but sometimes you get one dasher that's close to the store, and they get 6 offers sent to them, and you got 10 other drivers sitting around waiting for an order. That's not cool either. I mean, I've sat for 3 or 4 hours in places that were dead when they first opened and didn't get one order. But that also means you need to move around. Drive down the street, it's like trolling. You'll catch an order, go to another location. You need to find out where those orders are coming from. And you ask them when you're at the restaurant. You make friends with them. You ask them, you guys get a lot of DoorDash orders here? You know. I've heard of dashers go into restaurants and sit for hours and never get an order and complain. And they talk to me on this channel here. She say, oh, I sat in such and such restaurant. I even talked to the manager. And I didn't get one order while I was there. And it was like, yeah, that's because that restaurant isn't on the app in that city. So you just went and sat somewhere for no reason. Bottom line, tipping is king. If you customers want your food, we don't get paid by the hour, and it's on average $2 an order. You want it? Better figure out how to tip. Or get DoorDash to be honest about the money. Because I'm going to tell you right now that if you can't afford to tip, you really need to cook it yourself or go pick it up yourself. Don't waste our time because gas is too high, traffic is really bad, and you're going to be mad before we even get it delivered, and you're going to ruin our ratings and kill our job, and we need the work, you know. So do consider tipping. It is a luxury service. It really is. And you wouldn't like it if it was done to you. You know? But that's the biggest problem of all, is the tipping. Not enough pay for the order. And really, DoorDash should raise the prices and set requirements and just do it like that. Because the problem is that we're just a delivery service. But I can't deliver your food at my cost. You know? Gas is like $3 a gallon right now. And I can't spend my fuel out to deliver your food and drive back or sit idle in traffic, you know, or sit idle waiting on you. I can't do it. I don't care about the tax deductions or nothing. I'm just telling you, I can't. You know, I can't deliver your McDonald's food, Burger King junk food, you know, for $3. I'm not doing it. You need to turn key on your own car and go do it. So, do consider tipping. You'll be intrigued at how much faster it gets there, or how much a dasher will make sure to be available at a certain time at a restaurant that you like, knowing that's going to be your order coming through, so they can catch it and deliver it to you every day. I mean, some people can't afford to tip, and I'm just telling you, it's a luxury service. If you can afford to tip, you will probably see your food really quick and really accurate, you know? Anyway, I'm going to talk to you guys later, and dash on.